Hey, you, how are you? I'm really excited for our guest today. This is new for me, actually. Pretty sure almost all of the interviews I've done to this point. So whatever order this comes in, we'll see. But to this point have been people I know, people who've been introduced to me, people I've had conversations with, people I know their be it story, and I brought them on. And I share this because this is where the podcast is at this point. We have people pitching themselves to be on this podcast to share their be it story. And I can't even like this is being it till you see it right here. Like this episode, I have been wanting an interview like this, where it's a person I don't know. I don't know what they're going to look like when they come on the screen. I don't know how they're going to sound. It's like just being it till you see it. And the story she and her sister have to share with you is really inspiring. And I'm so grateful. And I want you to know that you should not wait for an invitation to share your story. You should not wait for an invitation to do the thing that you want to do. Sometimes you've already been given that invitation, and it might not be in the sign of like a paperless post message saying you're invited, but it may actually be in questions people are asking you repeatedly. And because they see you an expert in something, or it could be in a vote of encouragement. Oh yeah, you're really great at this. You should do it. Those are little invitations. And so put yourself out there more often than you think you should. You're not bragging. You're not being annoying unless someone says no. And even when they say no, it could just mean not right now. And so I hope you enjoy this episode. She and her sister are working on some great things, and it's really, truly inspiring. You don't even have to wait very long for your thing to take off when it's the right thing for people and you're solving a problem. But also I hope it inspires you to take that leap, face the fear, and put yourself out there without waiting for the formal invite that I think a lot of us are waiting for. And the truth is maybe it already happened and we just didn't listen because we're a little bit scared to be it till we see it. So here is the interview with Taylor Smith of Shop Studio Sisters on Etsy and Instagram. And I hope you enjoy this. If you snag a sticker, you must take a picture and tag me on the gram with them, because I want to see what you got. I'm not going to lie. I'm already perusing because I am an elder millennial who loves Lisa Frank. So here's Taylor Smith after this brief message.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
All right, Be It listeners, this is a first, and I'm really excited. So forgive me if I nerd out, but I hope I ask all the questions that are coming into your mind as we talk to Taylor Smith. Taylor is a teacher turned CEO, and she runs one of the top 1% of Etsy shops. And I have to just say, like, I was reading all of her stuff. This woman has been being it till you see it as she created this amazing company from scratch. So, Taylor, can you please tell the Be It listeners who you are, what you rock at, and what you're doing right now?
Okay, first of all, Lesley, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Taylor. I run a Etsy shop with my sister, Katie. It's called Studio Sisters because obviously we're sisters. We produce our own stickers. So my sister is the artist and designer, and then we do everything in-house. So we design, print, cut, and ship all of our products ourselves. And we ship worldwide, all over the United States and globally. It's an amazing thing to get to wake up every day and ship handmade products that are, our own designs to people all over the world who are using them, putting them on their water bottles, using them as mantras, and putting them, maybe on their desk or their computer where they can see them, or they're creating art with them. It's so freaking cool. And
this is incredible. So wait, you guys make stickers, and the two of you do this as your job for a living. Like, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy. So my sister always jokes that when she was a kid, she wanted to be Lisa Frank when she grew up. I don't know if you remember Lisa Frank.
Honey, elder millennial, of course. But mine was too poor to get Lisa Frank anything. My parents would never buy it. They would always buy the cheap, 29-cent folder as opposed to the $1.99 folder. Mm-hmm. And I just was so jealous of all the Lisa Frank girls in my class. And that's probably why everything I do is color. I'm like Lisa Frank in real life. So I love your sister already.
Yeah. So she's like, I just wanted to be her when I grew up, and now I am. I design stickers for a living. So every day we get up, we fill the orders, we ship stickers out. Because we produce ourselves and we don't use a drop shipper or a third party, there's a lot of handmade production that goes on. And I think that's a really fascinating process. The whole time you're running printers and die cut machines, you're like, wow, I'm actually making this thing, and it's going to people who are going to love it. And that is the coolest part of the process. But also for me, this Etsy shop literally changed my life. So I'll share a little bit about that.
That's exactly what they need to hear, because first of all, it's amazing to say you're in the top 1%. But I think where people get hung up is how did you go from where you were to success now? But what was the thing? Because you don't just you're not just wake up one day and now you're the number one shop, right? You have to there's a whole lot of messy middle in there. So can you tell us the story?
Yeah, and I love talking about that messy middle. Okay, so I have 2 degrees in cultural anthropology. I wanted to teach. That's all I ever wanted. I had no plan B. That's all I ever wanted, was to teach social studies, to teach humanities. And so I left grad school and took a job at a community college, which was my dream. I had gone to community college. I wanted to give back and teach at a community college. And I got the job and I loved it, but I was making no money at it.
Yeah, it's not a shock. If you live anywhere else in the world, maybe this is a shock to you, but teachers in the States make no money.
Exactly. So then I did that for several years, just trying to somehow thinking that if I just kept at it, it would somehow work and I would somehow be making more money at some point. And I'm not really sure why I was thinking that was going to work out.
We tell ourselves a lot of things to get through. And I think sometimes those stories can be really helpful. And sometimes those things could be, holding us back. So it sounds like you had an idea at some point to not do that anymore.
Yeah. So then I tried teaching for a corporation. I thought maybe teaching public education was the problem, right? If I went to work for a corporation, I'd get paid a lot more as an instructor. So I did that. I worked for, actually, it's kind of crazy. I accepted 2 teaching contracts at the same time. So
go big or go home, Taylor.
Yeah. And they were both online. So that was wild. I ended one job at 11 p.m. on a Friday night, and I started my next teaching shift at 5 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay.
And
this is crazy.
It was wild.
I
know.
Wild. This is I say go big or go home as a joke, because I'm sure at some point you're this is a big problem. You can this is not sustainable.
Correct. So so I'm making a little bit more money. This is okay. I'm paying my bills, but this is crazy and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Right. I loved the teaching, but I hated the schedule and I hated working by myself, and it was really alone, and I was working weird hours. So I was there has to be I've got to do something else. And this is all kind of coming together in my brain when the pandemic hits.
Oh, so wait, sorry, spoiler alert, I got to skip ahead. You started this business in the pandemic?
Yeah. So all of this has happened in 18 months.
Stop. Okay. So when the pandemic hits, you quit teaching, or like, how did you and your sister, I'm sorry, I skipped so far ahead. I got so excited. How did you and your sister go, let's work together? It sounds like you had very few extra hours in your days when you weren't sleeping and versus teaching. So like did because of the pandemic, did your jobs shut down? Like what was the impetus?
Okay, so I became very worried that I was going to lose my job because what happened is I had actually, at that time, I think I had just stopped one of my contracts. I was just working for one company. And then the pandemic hit. And then we started getting emails that like people are getting laid off because people are homeschooling their kids, or a lot of our clients actually were companies paying for their employees to take classes from us. And so when that happened, a lot of those contracts got dropped.
Yeah. Everyone peeled back all their budgets as quickly.
Everybody peeled back. Yeah. And that happened in my company too. And the education company I work for. So I was like, holy crap, I might be about to lose my job. I need to start something. And so I like hit up my sister. I'm like, hey, I think we should start an Etsy shop. And I think we should just play with this and see what happens. And we have both previously had small Etsy shops in the past. She's a freelance artist. She works for herself. But this was the first time that we actually like worked together on something. We had always kind of done our own thing. So I drug her kind of into this like kicking and screaming.
But she gets to be Lisa Frank now.
Yeah. And that's what big sisters do to their little sisters. 100%. I don't know if you have a sister, Leslie.
Are you a big sister?
Yeah, I am.
I have a little sister, and she is going to hate it if she hears me say that. I have a younger sister. And it's true. Like, there's just something. I mean, I think when you're older, it gets a little bit less, whatever it is when you're growing up. But like, we were pretty close in age. We're only 2 years apart. So it was easy for... Yeah. Anyways, she is amazing, and she actually does some work for us, which is super cool. We did not have to drag her kicking and screaming, I will say, but so
well, that's good.
Yeah. So wait, so you started this in like March, April, May of 2020. When did you all start?
March 31st, 2020.
Oh my God. This is crazy. Okay. I'm so excited. So how do you start this business though? Because I don't know. Is it just like you just go on Etsy and you're like, become a business? Like, what do you have to do to like get on Etsy? And you don't have to go on all the like click by clicks, but like, did you to know you'd have a viable product? How did you test that what you were about to sell was going to be worth it?
Yeah, so that's an awesome question. So Etsy is really easy to get started. You pretty much, it's just like if you've signed up for a Facebook account, you can figure out how to sign up for an Etsy account. It's really not that hard. And Etsy, unlike other platforms like Shopify or running your own business that have monthly subscriptions, Etsy, you don't pay a monthly fee for. It costs you 20 cents to list and test a product. That's it. And you don't pay anything else to sell. So listeners out there, if you want to test something out, Etsy is a great place to test and validate.
This is insane. 20 cents? That's insane.
20 cents. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you pay a commission on the sale, but you don't pay anything else until it actually sells. So we tested a few different products in the very beginning. And then also Katie, my sister, had produced some stickers on her own already. She kind of validated it on social media a little bit. So we said, hey, let's take that. And we had initially sold a few other things like masks. We had sold some other handmade products, like craft kits for adults, like journal or DIY kits using stickers and different like art prints and things like that. But stickers were very quickly where we found that niche, and this was the thing that was selling. So yeah, so we began to niche down, and here's the part where it sort of like all changed is like we just decided, hey, the stickers are selling. We love doing this. We're like, this product makes us excited, but we're also seeing it's validated by customers buying it. So let's just become known as the sticker girl. Let's niche down and just do this one thing.
I love it. I mean, that's what it is, right? Like they say in everything that you do, like it's just so important to focus on like one thing, because then you can break through. Like I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you haven't spread your wings yet on things, but like once you're known for one thing, then you can actually talk about many things, right? Oprah was known as like this one thing as a daytime host. And now she's like got magazines and Weight Watchers and all the things, right? So you got to be one thing first. So you guys tested some stuff and then you're like, we're the sticker girls. We're rocking it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I 100% agree with you. Like if there's one, I get asked this all the time, like, how do I stand out from my competition? How do I make my business blow up, right? How do I start making money? Not just like $1 here on there, $10 here on Etsy. Like, how do I actually make this something that is profitable, that is part of my financial freedom story? And that is like, you have to choose a thing and become known for that thing. You have to choose your niche.
You have to. Okay. So here's like inquiring minds want to know. Because I do not believe that if you build it, people will come. So you put your stickers on there. You're like, we're sticker people. And like Etsy is amazing. Like I am like, I need something cool. I'm just going to go look on Etsy. But how soon between like, okay, we're the sticker girls to like, hey, we work for ourselves as the shop sisters. Like what was like, did it just like overnight people just buying stickers because of the pandemic, or like, was there like was there a lead up? Is there a little growing period?
Okay, so I think that the most normal thing for a business to expect is that there's a lead up, there's a growing period. You just are going to be in a position where you see slow, steady growth month over month. It's going to get bigger and bigger. That's not what happened in our case. The pandemic just hit fast forward on everything. Right. April 5th, I think, was around Easter weekend. And one day we had like 300 orders in one day.
Shut up. That's
after... in like a week. It was insane. We were not prepared. We got super overwhelmed and we were like, we have to develop a strategy. There's got to be a system. And we did, and we learned from it, which is amazing. But I think that the most normal thing you should expect with any kind of like entrepreneur journey is more of a slow, steady, intentional pace. And hopefully you don't get overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, because it's true. Like that's the other side is like, woo, all these orders, but then you got to do all the work for it. So the space in between, did you like did y'all check your email all day long looking for like dings? Like, did you keep the sound on so you hear cha-ching? Does Etsy do cha-ching? Like, how did you all spend your time to like getting ready for being this shop owner, before you were like, busy being a shop owner?
Oh gosh. Okay. So many things. So first of all, I think that I try to start like manifesting this like for my future, even though it was already happening, right? We were already getting orders. I was deep down thinking like, what if this just stops tomorrow, right? Like, this is great. I'm glad I made $3,000 this week, but like, what if next week it's zero and that's it? That's the end of it. So
like a one-hit wonder. We all know those.
Correct. Yeah. I was deeply terrified that I was a one-hit wonder on Etsy.
Right. Like, I think we all just were like, oh my God, April 5th, you like sold out overnight, you're overwhelmed. And it's like, yeah, but then what happened on April 7th? Correct. Yes. So establishing those daily habits, right? So this is applicable for someone, even if you have 0 clients in your service-based business or 0 clients in your product-based business, like figure out what you do every day as a successful business owner. So every morning at 8 o'clock, I go through all the customer DMs. I log on to Etsy and I answer all the customer messages. It doesn't matter if there are 0 that day, and I already knew that because there weren't any notifications on my phone. I still do it anyway. Got it.
And that habit like sets the precedent every single day that this is what I do because this is a normal part of my life as a full-time handmade business owner.
I love this so much. You're not like, let me wait until I'll wait until there's customer messages. You're like, nope. Every day as a successful business owner, I check these messages, I check this email, I check these orders, I do these things because it's manifesting. It's also being it till you see it. It's like acting as if you have these things, because I think so often people are like, well, when I have X, then I will do this. I even caught myself the other day going, when all this is done, then I'll go back to my morning journaling. And I was like, whoa, like my brain was like, cognitive dissonance. We don't like this. That's not how we believe. And I was like, you're right. I'm going to just have to make the time to get back to my morning journaling. So I have been doing it again all week long. And I have to say days are better than ever because that's just what it is. But also I am the person who makes the time to do what she says she's going to do to fill her cup first. So I love that you did that. You're like, I'm checking these orders. How did that feel? And like, did it feel like it was manifesting, or did it feel scary? Like, cause I think that can feel weird, right? To just check things knowing that it's not there.
Yeah. So I think you can look at that one way and say like, oh, there weren't any customer messages. My business is a failure. No one likes what I make. No one likes what I sell. That's one option. Totally, you can go that route with your mindset. Or what I tend to look at it as is, hey, look, there weren't any messages today. Awesome. Look, I did such a good job. Like my product descriptions must be so clear that no one had any questions today. Like, good job, Taylor.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Like, that is so true. That is so true because y'all, when we're recording this, I just finished a launch. And when you do a launch, I'm sure like even with Taylor, we'll say this, like, if there are like reasons for people to buy day one that disappear for day 2, 3, 4, basically what that means is you get a lot on day 1 and then you get the last minute people on day 5. But like 2, 3, 4, it's like crickets. And it's so easy to go, oh my God, that's it. We're not going to get any more. Like it just wasn't that great. Or it's easy to go, nope, everyone is so excited. They're going to buy it on the last day because they can wait till the last day. So I'm just going to wait for them, but everything is out there and it's so clear and we're just going to trust they're going to be there. And they always come, but we can tell ourselves such interesting stories. So because you work with your sister, do you guys catch each other on any stories you tell each other? Like, is it good to have a partner in crime?
Oh, I think so. She's awesome at reminding me like, slow down. We don't need to do everything at once, which is something I struggle with. And I have to practice daily of like, I have to set a stop time for myself. Doesn't matter. Everything else can wait until the next day after 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., whatever I set for that day.
That's amazing. So what time do you start your day?
So I usually start at 7. I'm an early morning person. We both are. So usually I start at 7. She likes to start at 5 a.m. Not my jam. She's up drinking her tea and designing art at 5 a.m. I start at 7. I usually stop at 3 or 4 unless it's just like we're going to the holiday season. We know we're going to have to work more during the holidays. But usually I work 7 to 3 most days. And sometimes I'm like so excited and so in it. And she's like, hey, we're done for the day. Like, I'm done. You need to be done too. So that's one of the benefits I would say of working with my sister is like, she's not afraid to call me out and tell me like, no.
Yeah. I work with my husband and I will say like, we call each other out because I am the early person, but early in that I like to get up early for myself and I run and I work out and I have my coffee. I'm like, now that the weather is amazing, I sit outside. It's a little cold, but I have my blanket and it's like awesome, all the things. And then I'll start work around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. But I like to end early, like several days a week. I like to end at 4. And then the only reason on the other 2 days I end a little late is because I'm studying breath work right now. So I'm taking class, but technically I'm done working. That's just like my education. And my husband will want to come in and talk to me, of course, because he starts his workday at 10. So he's still going and I'm like, I'm done. You can put that in Slack to me. Thank you so much. I love you. But then other times I'll have this amazing idea where we're out and he's like, hey, can you put that in the ideas parking lot? We're off today. And it's like, cause when you work for yourself, it's hard to turn the brain off, but having someone to be like, hey, you remember you put your ideas here when you're thinking about them and you're off. I'm just like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So, that everything else can wait is really difficult, especially I think for people who, you did grow so fast in the pandemic and it is easy for, I think when you work for yourself to think like, oh my God, this could all end tomorrow. So how, what are some mantras or what stickers have you made to like keep yourself from worrying that tomorrow it's going to be gone?
Okay. So I think that what happened for me besides like a business that changed my life and I quit my job in 4 months and like I've worked for myself ever since.
Oh my God, you quit your job in 4 months.
Yeah.
Your company was making enough money for you to quit your job. And I'm assuming your sister to just work on the business too.
Correct. Yes.
Insane.
But it was terrifying because I actually knew I could quit at 3 months, and it took me a month to quit.
Ooh.
Because I was so scared.
Can we talk about that? Can you talk about that fear? Because I actually think so many people listening to this know they should be quitting. They already know. Mm-hmm. And like, what was going through your head, and what did you tell yourself to, because 1 month, that's actually a really short period of time. I know people who wait years.
Yeah. And I know there are a lot of teachers out there. I have a lot of teacher friends, and every day I talk to them, I text them. I'm like, hey, did you quit your job today? Hey, did you quit your job today? Because so they're not valued by their employer for what they should be valuing for themselves, but they're stuck in it. And I totally get that because I've been stuck, right? It took me a month to quit my job. So let me talk about that, what I was afraid of. So I was afraid of being a one-hit wonder with my business, terrified that it was this is just going to be 6 weeks of pandemic cash, and then that's it. We're done. We'll never have another sale again. I was also really afraid of what would my identity be if I wasn't a teacher anymore, because I didn't plan for anything else. And I was terrified of what if I wasted my degrees? I wasted all this time in my 20s trying to be a successful teacher. Who am I if I don't have that academic trophy of working in education anymore?
Thank you for sharing these thoughts, because I think identity is a really big thing that holds us from being it till we see it. We are worried how people will see us. We're worried that, we've wasted time, which, the only time wasted is really the time you spend not doing the thing that you're being called to do. It's not the experience, because everything I did working in retail, none of that was with my degree. I don't know why I thought I was doing that. And so when I was leaving that to be a Pilates teacher, I'm like, oh my God, what are people going to think? I manage this high-end jewelry store. I work at this incredibly sought after space company. People, when you say, oh, I manage a store in Fred Siegel, they're like, oh my God, instant, you're up here. And then I'm a Pilates instructor. And I thought, what are people going to say with that? And really, again, what you said is the stories are in our head, because as soon as I told people I'm a Pilates instructor, that's so cool. Tell me about it. Yeah. People are very curious beings, and they don't, unless you're I'm I don't actually think so. Actually, I'm catching myself, y'all, because I was about to say, I'm a high school dropout and whatever. One of my best friends who's been on the podcast, she is a college dropout, and she kills it in the business world. And so, and when she shares that, people go, really? I think we put stories out there that make us think that people are going to judge us on something that they're going to find very fascinating and intriguing and interesting and almost slightly jealous and inspired by. So thank you for sharing that identity part, because I do think that is something we have to explore, and we really should explore with ourselves more often, because we can ask ourselves, why do I think that? We have a guest episode I just interviewed. So I don't know the time this is out, what number his will be, but he talks a lot about identity, and he actually goes, and I don't know if you did this, he actually steps outside of himself and is like, okay, Thor, so why is that a problem? As if he's interviewing himself as a therapist. So what was the thought that made you go, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be this Etsy sticker girl, and it's going to work out.
Okay. So, I was very caught up in this, right? Am I a teacher? Am I not? What if I only can do this business halfway, and then I'm a failed teacher, or anything caught up in that? And I sort of stopped myself, and I was like, okay, what are all the things that you want? What is your dream life? And so I made a list that was being able to get off of work early, go for a run, take as long as I want to cook dinner in my kitchen at night with music on and a glass of wine, and not have to worry about, doing more work after work. But also the freedom to travel. And then also the financial aspect. I was sick of having a teacher salary where I was okay, I can go get coffee 2 times this week. That's what fits in my budget. And so I sort of divided up what aligned and didn't align. And then I said to myself, okay, so if you didn't have fear, if fear just didn't exist, like, let's just take it off the table. If there is no fear, what choice would you make? And obviously, like, dream life, self-employed world traveler sounded way better than minimum wage teacher, working for someone else.
Working and two jobs at the time, online by yourself,
exactly,
at home, and only able to go out for coffee 2 times. Yeah, that's exactly. Appealing. And also, everyone, just so you know, unless you really screw up the quitting, you pretty much can always go back. Like, yeah, you pretty much can. If I wanted to, I don't want to, trust me. But if the pandemic had really screwed me up, I could have knocked on any of the luxury shops in on the strip and been like, hey, do you need a manager, an assistant manager, you need a salesperson? Like, I know how to do this.
Right. I always thought, well, I could definitely call back up. Like, my employer was begging me, like, can you just take a 6-month sabbatical instead of quitting? Like they were begging me to stay. And I knew I could always go back to teach. I could, always get another job. And now my mindset has shifted from I could get another job to, if something happened with my business, I am not worried about it, because as a business owner, I can come up with 1,000 other ideas to sell something on the internet and find another way. Yeah,
you're 100% correct. And I think, like, a lot of people fear, well, what if it doesn't work? And it's like, the truth is, like, A, what if it does? And B, if you're a creator, you are a creator. And I do actually believe that we all have the creator ability in us. And we just don't give ourselves credit for it, because maybe someone didn't tell us we're an artist, or maybe someone didn't tell us that we're creative. But really, like, we all have that in us, and it's really tenacity, stamina, and the belief in yourself. And here, maybe not everyone wants to work for themselves. Like, that is very scary. So if you're listening to this and you're like, ladies, this is awesome, but I don't actually want the fear of working for myself. I need stability. I need this. That makes so much sense. You can still ask yourself those same identity questions and make sure that you're in a space that, like, actually is serving you, because you can still work there's so many different amazing places to work that value you in different ways. It's not always monetarily, but they can value you in your time and your creativity and your enthusiasm. So Taylor, where do you like to hang out on the socials? If people are like, holy crap, I want to know more about this Etsy thing, what can they do?
Okay, so you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Shop Studio Sisters. Also our website, shopstudiosisters.com. We have a Studio Sisters podcast. You can find that on our website or Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen. On the podcast, we love to talk about Etsy, of course. We share a lot of actionable Etsy tips. We also just talk about what it's like to be, like, working full-time creatives, and sort of everything about that kind of part of our lives. It's a lot of fun. If people are interested in Etsy and they're like, hey, I just want to make $500 a month in a side hustle. I just want to sell this cool thing that everyone is always telling me I should sell, that I just make for fun, or I don't know, I want to learn more. We do teach an Etsy coaching program. It's called Dream, Create, Sell, and it's our step-by-step guide. It's the exact strategy we've used to make more than 6 figures in sales in Etsy in the past 18 months. And so we took everything we did, we built it into a strategy that you can follow step by step. And so we have students in our program that are having, like, absolutely incredible results with it. And it's super exciting. So all of that, you can find us on Instagram at Shop Studio Sisters.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I need stickers for my walls. I'm so excited. And also, just, like, I love that you and your sister are like, hey, people are asking us questions on this. Here's what we're gonna do next. Y'all, sometimes your next thing is the question you just keep getting asked. And yes. I am making an assumption there, but I don't think you just were like, hey, you know what? We should just teach people how to do this. I'm sure people were asking you questions and you're like, all right, we should make some money on this, because this is taking a lot of our time too. I'm so grateful for this conversation. Okay, before we go though, we ask every guest, what bold, executable, intrinsic, targeted steps can our listeners take to be it till they see it?
Okay, so I would say that I think if I were to just pick one thing, be the initiator in your life. maybe that's you want to make new friends. Maybe that's you want to start a business, or just you feel stuck and you want to just try something new you've never done, whether that's a yoga class or signing up for a marathon or taking up a new hobby. Like, you need to be the initiator. So pick a day on your planner with nothing on it and pencil in that thing that you want to do. That could be inviting someone you barely know for a cup of coffee, or maybe it's signing up for an online course that literally you know nothing about other than it sounds like a good thing to try. And just see where it leads. That is my best tip. Pick something, be the initiator, but make it time bound, right? Don't say, I'm going to become a quilter and I'm going to quilt and make, 300 quilts. Like, just say, I'm going to do this one thing on this one day.
Oh my God. Okay. That is so cool. Be the initiator. If you haven't made a sticker, you and your sister should. And
yeah, we
be
should.
The initiator you want to see. Like, we'll just in the world. I think that's genius. I really do love that. And I couldn't agree with that more. Taylor, this has been awesome. Thank you for making the time to be in our listeners' ears this week, and for sharing so generously your journey and your story. I think it is inspiring AF, and I can't wait, listeners. Please, y'all, tell us how this inspired you. So screenshot this, tag Shop Studio Sisters. Hold on.
Shop Studio Sisters.
Shop Studio Sisters. See the messy action right there? No one's perfect. Tag Shop Studio Sisters and Be It Pod with your takeaways, with what you're going to do if you're going to be the initiator today. And let us know how this affected you. Until next time, be it till you see it.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Kroll. Our associate producer is Amanda Fraterelli.
Kevin Perez at Diseño handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jairo Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Perdoso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.